Oh, yes. Time for some bangers with the background music, but also in the Rift, it's match number 3. It's going to be a huge game at Chiefs and Peace, both of which are undefeated. And I'm here to change that completely. Look at these fists. You see them? This one is Machine Gun, and this one is Johnny. Together, they're Machine Gun Johnny. I don't know if that means anything to you, but it means something to me, and it might mean something to Chiefs and Peace. But I guess we'll figure out in the interview. Maybe Kitty can ask. I don't know if she's got time for that. I know we need to get into this one, so let's start to talk Chiefs first. This team, it's a super team. They have been doing a bit of limit testing over the last couple of weeks, but all things considered, they're still undefeated, and they're still getting those W's on the board, Rusty.
Yeah, they still definitely look like one of the best teams in the league. The only competition right now is their direct opponents in this game. But Topoon, I think he's always going to be the place that we have to talk first and foremost. He is definitely cementing himself as one of the actual league MVPs, not just top lane. He is an absolute menace. He is commanding the entire game with the amount of influence that he is able to have on just the top side of the map. And the thing is, it transcends just the waves themselves, right? He understands wave manipulation. He understands how to push and timings. He also understands how to leave his lane and team fight. He knows everything about top lane. He's an absolute master that is just taking everyone in the LCO to school. And eventually, they'll all have to get better to keep up with just the caliber of player that we're witnessing in top for the Chiefs.
Okay, what lesson do you think he's going to teach everyone?
I mean, it's waves, Mac. No one else plays waves the way that Topoon plays minion waves. He's always intentional, and I think that's a really important thing, because that's the difference between a solo queue top laner that's challenger and a professional league top laner that's challenger.
Yeah, well, maybe I could have a conversation with you, because I used to surf back in the day as well. Now, jumping on into team numero 2, we've got to talk Peace as well. Skimmy, take me through it.
Yes, the Peace, as you can see so far, have really been the one-stop shop for looking to try and upset the apple cart, which is the top of the table. Yes, they could also be considered a super team with a lot of these players having stuck around from last season where they had that dominating performance to end up at Worlds to come back here today. Yes, they'll be facing some old teammates that were on that roster of last year, but they have looked very strong in their own individual regard. They had a composition that you can see here, which was very fragile, but once it got a smell for blood, then it just absolutely destroyed people. We were seeing an absolute pop-up performance from Lisa on this Lee Sin. I'd imagine, well, I'd expect to see that now get banned away or targeted, as well as Appy saying, look, I'm just going to play the Akali mid. It's going to be a carry. It's going to run over the game. And how about the first game of a Caitlyn? And it just looks ever so easy. So there's a lot of discussion right now, obviously towards enchanters and smite top laners and Zeri, but I just feel like there is so many different angles, and you just have to hope that the coaches haven't overthought how they want to approach this.
Yeah, I think, you've mentioned it. It is all about the top, and that top lane, both of these players have been almost flawless so far this split. So let's have a look at them head-to-head. Topoon and Tian, they're big names, they're big imports coming back, and I can tell you that both of them are looking so damn good. So I guess, Rusty, tell me, why is this probably where the difference is going to be?
I feel like for both teams, the top lane has been the place where they have found the most success so far, right? Arthur plays towards top lane, they break the first 2 turrets up in top lane most of the time. That translates to mid priority and control. Tally plays roaming mid laners, as does Appy for each respective team. So they're going to be playing towards their side lanes. And both bot laners tend to be playing towards the rest of the map, not themselves as much, right? You've had the Corki matchups, the Jinx, the Lulus that want to scale down in bot lane as well on the Peace side of the fence. So everything kind of leads into saying, how does top go early, and how does that early top difference influence the rest of the map? So that's why this is such an important matchup. Not only are they exceptional players that have carry threat, looking at TN for something like that, they can play cheesy stuff, looking at Topoon if you want to control waves, Janna, hello. But it's all about how that influences the rest of the map and the trickle-down effect. Okay,
now we've had a chat about the top lane, but we have 2 more players to have a quick look at. So we've got a video that we put together to show you guys at home.
I get the chance to versus my old teammate Sally, because he was red swap to mid as well, and now I red swap to mid, so I want to beat him.
Peace is like, I'm pretty surprised they got defeated. Tian and Lisa self-leaguing, but first thing, me and Topoon is not gonna be. We're all just extremely experienced with this kind of play style, so if they play us against us, like, I don't even think they have a chance.
everyone in the team feels really good. Facing Chiefs, for me, another game we just play.
I don't think Peace has a shot at taking away our undefeated streak, and I'm extremely surprised that they're actually on an undefeated streak.
Ali, we have similar champion pool, but mechanically, let's see if we can take this one.
Good luck, guys. May the best team win.
Thanks for looking after me last year, guys. I do appreciate that. It was a nice home, but there is only one rule swap mid allowed in Oceania, and that's me.
He said it.
There you have it. There you have it. So big words being said, and we got a big talent to bring back into the desk, and that's Kitty. So let's bring her back into the conversation. Tell me, what do you think is going to be happening this game, and also who do you have for the pre-match?
Well, that was a very epic pre-game video, but I have more epic people on the side for the interview, Arthur and Api. So let's get into it. Hello. Starting off with Arthur, congrats on the perfect run. How are you feeling going 4-0 coming into week 3?
I mean, we kind of expected we are not going to unless like undefeated, but the way we play right now is kind of weird. So we are, if we fix early game problem, we gonna 100% going to be undefeated or like going to be win split one.
So I was looking at your past games and I picked up that Chiefs is a topside oriented team where Chiefs statistically have 100% rate of getting first tower, where that first tower gold goes to Tapoon. Do you play towards Tapoon because he's just so good at the game, or because of meta and draft it just makes you play into topside by default?
I mean, I don't really like to playing topside, but I think Raze and Tally's sucks, so I think I have to play on Tapoon.
Well, that's good to know, but someone who doesn't suck is Api. So, Api, you've been highly praised by a lot of people since your role swap back to mid lane. With years of experience on different roles and different teams, what is your best quality as a pro player?
My best quality of is probably gonna be like the knowledge of the game, so it will be like easier for me to fit in like any role, like support, top, mid, maybe not jungle, but any others. So yeah, it's pretty easy for me.
We love a flexible player, but moving back to Arthur. So, looking at your stats, you average a low kill impact while maintaining a high map impact. But you do obtain the first Rift Herald every single game in the LCO so far. Why do you prefer trading first Drake over Rift Herald?
I mean, Herald is like really valuable than Drake, but in O's, I feel like if we still get Herald, like it's not really. I don't really feel like we are actually snowballing, so I just forsaking Dragon because we sucks.
Well, we are running behind in time, so sorry, Api, but best of luck to you guys, and hopefully we see who remains undefeated. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Man, Arthur's just spitting fire at his own team there. You love to see it, and now he's got to absolutely roast the boys in the interview. I'm sure he's going to cop it later. Now, let's not waste any time. Let's talk predictions. I'm interested to see how this one's going to go, because I feel like Chiefs, they're still got this like super team aura about them, whereas Peace, they're coming into this one on paper as the underdogs, but the performances that they've been putting on the board has split the predictions. So, Rusty, tell me why you've gone with what I would call the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I think Peace are a very good team, right? And they definitely have earned their place as a contender, but they're not a super team. I think plain and simple, there's just too much star power on the side of the Chiefs. And if TN rises to the occasion today and Topoon starts to fall behind, there's 4 players that'll catch him, right? And it's like we saw crazy performances from all of the individuals of Chiefs, and we'll see more. So not surprised if they get the dub today.
Okay, well, I'm looking towards like Lisa to kind of carry the boys on Peace today, because he's had some very good performances over the last couple of weeks. What about you, Kitty? Thoughts on Peace?
Well, obviously, we've seen both teams play a couple games so far. I've picked up that Chiefs actually have a... they don't get as many kills in the early game, where, in my opinion, I think if Peace gets that early kill lead, they'll just translate that into a dub.
Okay, well, Skimmy, you're the only man that hasn't spoken here, so tell me, why Chiefs?
Just too much experience, too much, too many trophies won. They're the super team for a reason, and they're going to do it again.
Okay. Very, very short, very succinct. Now, I'm going to ask it again. I hate to ask the same question 3 times in a row, but we did see the Zeri ban in game number 2, and I want to see more because that first game was just so much fun, so much entertainment. Is it too OP? Is it going to cop a ban in game 3, Rust?
I think it will.
Yeah.
I don't know if, like, Raze is the type of player that would play a new champion, no issues at all. You know, like, he's the guy that'll play Karthus bottom if it comes back to meta and be successful. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him have picked it up super fast. And Chaeyon is the young Mechanics Max player. Zeri sounds right in his wheelhouse, and I'm sure Beats wants Yumi. So I'm expecting Chiefs to ban it.
Well, let's see if that is going to be. Rusty predicting the future. However, it's game time, so let's jump into it. Who is going to be at the top of the table after this?
That is the question on everybody's mind right now, Mac. These two teams undefeated 4-0 coming into week 3. It is match of the week, and for good reason too, because it's a chance to really understand who is the definitive favorite and the best team at the moment.
Definitely something that we're going to be looking towards. So the Chiefs have chosen to be on the blue side here as well, for what it's worth. Skimmy, I think everyone chose blue side today.
Yep.
Lulu Karma are going to be 2 bans taken away. Interesting that they would go this path if it's not an enchanter like the Zeri Yumi that would be seeing potentially even from their side of the fence here. Corki being left up and available to me is insane. In saying that, Caitlyn has also been left up, as you're seeing now from the Hover of Peace. So a lot more targeted with the bans this time around. It's going to be very different to like your standard meta bans. Tryndamere obviously is good. Renekton can be banned if it's flexible between solo laners, which it is, and we know that Topoon and Tally can both be absolute demons on the pick, but they've given Corki.
And I'm glad we got rid of Lee-Sin as well. It's what I mentioned for Lisa. He's had far too many good performances on it. 3 games of that. 3 games also from Beats on this Lulu. He's actually got the least amount of deaths in the league right now. Only 3. Very good on these enchanters, and they're going to run it back again. This is how they lined up, at least with their bot lane, into order. Caitlyn Lux, and they're going to try and tap into that magic once again. Look how many OP picks have been left up and available. It's a scramble to assemble as many as you can.
I don't know if you can afford to go for the Syndra if Zeri Yumi is a combo when you've already gotten rid of the Karma and the Lulu, because the 4 or 5 bans just become a little bit easier. So it depends on what the Chiefs feel most comfortable with. You know that your bot lane opponents are going to be Caitlyn Lux. So they see that, they say, we think that Zeri is just overpowered. No surprises that Raze would pick it up quickly. And Dragku, who hasn't played an enchanter yet this split, but who does not stop talking about Soraka and Yumi and things like that last year, is going to still go towards his Leona, something that has significantly higher kill threat and works incredibly well, actually, Skimmy, into the first 3 champions that Peace have locked in. Syndra may handle Corki well, may have early priority, may have early push. No mobility to stop a Leona from being effective. So I think if you actually just put a Jarvan in this composition, Chiefs have an insane 5v5.
Yeah, and I think it's a very interesting take on how they want to try and deal with the Caitlyn and the Lux, right? Not just to sit back, play an enchanter and scale into infinity, perhaps too weak a lane then as a result of what you've locked in so far. Bring the aggression, look to try and be aggressive, especially in the level 3, level 4 brand, and showcase what you can do before they steamroll ahead and just bully you out with extra range and turret sieging. So let's get into the second phase of the bans and see where the target goes now, because we've got a lot of these top lane bans definitely looking to try and limit Topoon's effectiveness. There's the GP as well that we know Tien is very effective at, and this is the big discussion right now, the big talking point. What will they actually play in this top lane? Because they've both been insane lane bullies, so much so that they don't even just win top lane. They roam mid, they help that win too, and you ask, who, is there a gentleman's agreement? Are we both playing carries? Does one say, I'll give you the respect?
Topoon definitely is a big Gnar player. So that's what I would be looking at, Skimmy, for the trade. That's probably the one big point. You can see the second ban here as well going towards the Malphite. So a lot of pressure on these bans towards top lane.
Definitely a lot of pressure, and it boils down to that question again. What will they lock in place? They've certainly got some unique champions up their sleeve. I don't know if they'll need to reveal it in such a high-stake game like this, though.
I mean, this could, like, if you really wanted to, you just pick like a Nidalee angle, if that makes sense to you, right? Like, I probably wouldn't, but
Oh, this is Jarvan.
Peace, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Peace's comp. Chiefs definitely want something like the Jarvan. That Jace pick is a strong indicator that you could just be like an all-in one-hit, long-range comp. So
Sure.
1500 unit away nukes is probably the game plan. Chiefs, we mentioned the Jarvan before. I think that's also possible. Depending on what they want as their jungle combo with top.
Would be an interesting discussion, though, right? Just poke them out before they can even engage in the first place. By the time that by the time that Alpha goes in as the Jarvan, you know, the fight's already over by that point. The team just too weak to try and capitalize on that punishment. In the end, though, they're going to sacrifice and say, Gragas is what we are about, and round things out in that regard. We'll try and bridge the gap at least with 3 champions, really, to get on their head.
So Poppy is going to be the last champion of choice here for Peace. Poppy's a jungle champion primarily at the moment. There is a lot of mobility on the Chiefs side. Let's just put that out first and foremost. So the W is going to be value everywhere. It is also a mid to long range composition, right? You'll have a Lux, you'll have a Caitlyn, and you'll have a Jace standing fairly far back. Similar to, I will say, a Corki in the distance that they can cover. There is now going to be a Poppy and a Syndra, however, slightly in front of that will be protecting. So it's almost like a front-to-back poke composition, if that makes sense, where they want to protect their flanks, but Poppy is just steadfast in the front line. No one can get through you. Stops a Leona, stops a Gragas, stops Zeri from disengaging, stops Corki from disengaging if there's no package, and it stops a Jarvan from going forward. So this pick could be huge if Lisa positions properly.
I've seen it played a lot by Peanut in the LCK, and it just looks so broken. When it's navigated and piloted by a good player, it just finds infinite value in the draft. Here we go, though. It is match of the week as these 2 teams do battle. A draft that was definitely catered towards individual picks and denying comfort, but left so much up for grabs. So many of these champions that have just been permabanned all week, or all split lock, quite honestly. And a chance to see which team can look to utilize more so than anything its full potential. I'm curious to see how Chiefs will navigate the fact that they have so much mobility, have so much damage, but more so how Peace can abuse this range advantage they find themselves with.
I mean, I'm looking at bottom lane more than anything else. The last time that we saw Chayon and Beats playing Caitlyn Lux, they were bodying their opponents, right? Just 2v2 kills left, right, and center. Bring a jungler in, they'll kill the jungler first. They were putting on an absolute clinic. And Zeri Leona is not a lane that we see too much of, right?
No.
So there's a lot of learning that needs to take place down in that bottom lane. A lot of pressure needs to be placed on both these players, and that's refreshing for me, right? We've seen Topoon, we've seen Tian take over the entire game, but now with the first L on the line for both of these teams, we could be playing towards bottom.
We certainly could be. A meta in which could be focused towards those bot laners, and we'll get to see which one comes out ahead. Both certainly have tools and champions to carry a game on their own. But we'll have to wait as we do load into the Rift. A big, big game, a big ask for both these teams as well. And as we load into this one, a chance to once again get some insight into the minds of these teams. Let's welcome back Coach Kuden from the side of Chiefs and talk through this draft. How are you, Kuden? It's a big week ahead for you boys. Obviously, you got Peace tonight. You got PGG tomorrow as well. So I have to ask, what's going to give you that 1% edge to remain undefeated?
Yeah, don't tell anyone that it's Team Icon pre-workout. We take that every game.
So we've got everybody else in the gym? Okay.
Yep.
It's a supplement, Def.
Yes.
Well, quickly, as we get into this match, you look at a team like Peace, and I heard from the boys themselves, they even said they're surprised that Peace are undefeated. Why do you think that is?
I'm glad you asked that, because when I watch, I think people had no idea what they were doing when they were versing Peace. Like, they were trying to kill, they were trying to dive into the team when they had Lulu's, and they're diving to Lulu, and Lulu's just pressing R on people they're diving on. If they just one-shot Lulu in fights before she can press R, they win. Like, I think Beats played Lulu every game, I don't know, but they're just diving, not playing, there's not one-shotting the Lulu.
Yeah. It's just a free free tip. We're just giving that for free there to the teams watching right now.
Cool.
Hey, we're going to crack on with this
support.
game. I appreciate your insight as always, mate. Best of luck for the week.
It was
It happened, Rusty. It was bound to happen at one point, right? We did get a first blood.
Yeah, of course, it was inevitable. There was actually 3 kills, so we missed a lot. We'll run through this again. Tally, starting with the Gatling gun, actually has a lot of level 1 pressure, but when there's 2 people, it's just going to be a little bit too much. Dragku, Raze, they get into the mix. There was an odd level 1 overall from a lot of the positions of everybody, but Peace choose to do something a little bit cheesy. It works. They do keep Tally down, so mid priority still belongs to Appy. But the trade back was just a little bit too powerful from the side of the Chiefs, and they will secure those kills back, which is the bigger deal. And that happened in bottom lane, where Raze on the Zeri is able to get one of those, and Draco on Leona. So that's the one place that you really want to control and body out if you're a Caitlyn Lux.
Sure.
And they're going to have to continue to do that before those first resets come through. So that extra 300 gold could be very valuable for a Zeri.
Yeah, so it could have grand consequences in terms of looking to try and hit those breakpoints nice and early, as you highlight, and nullify a lot of the pressure that Peace's bot lane have brought to the table. Curious to see where the aggression will continue, because Arthur does just rock it into top side and says hello to Tien and flashes on his head and then gets juked away. And is he going to die to the burn? Is he just in range for Q? No. He has to back away, but that was so close.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is just going to be a flash trade. Top wave is probably really nice from what I saw briefly from top in there as well. Bots trading super hard, as is mid. But at the end of the day, that was just Summoner's Burn. Mid is both just 0 health scraping through. Bot fighting.
Dracu's gone in. He's got Aftershock. He's taking literally no damage. Now it's going to come into effect. But Raze was not in a position to back him up and make sure that that trade was a winning one. So they're going to be burning through these potions. Everybody still has a few, but that's Dracu's last.
Yeah, Potion Lead definitely in the hands of the Caitlyn Lux. And the thing is, like as stated, you would expect the Caitlyn Lux to start with their best foot forwards. They're going to look for the cheeky reset now with Tempo on a cannon wave, so Chiefs will be super behind that mark. Mid-wave, you're expecting Peace to push in, control the 1v1. Appy is just being a menace. Exactly how he should be. And top lane was pushed, but it's crashing and resetting. So you're looking at junglers and how they move around the top side of the map more than anything else. If something was to happen on the top side of the map, you would expect Appy to have the first move, but if it's a dive, he's not going to be able to get there at all.
Big wave built up, 2 waves stacked, in goes Tapoon. Not level 6 just yet, Tien's a level down. A flash away, takes 2 turret shots to Tapoon. This hits us with a sad B emote because the play is completely fizzled out.
Yeah, I mean, they'll do some nice damage on the disengage to Tien, but ultimately both top laners still having their teleport. That dive attempt was just weathered really nicely. Calm, measured play from the flashless Tien, but you know that Arthur also doesn't have a flash of his own, and so Topun has to take the first aggro. Honestly handled pretty well by the top laner of Peace, and this opens up the gates to an objective.
Certainly does, and Peace aren't going to waste any time looking to pick this one up for free, so first Drake goes their way, but as you heard from Arthur, and so what we've seen from the Chiefs so far, they have tended to give up the first 2 Drakes, much so in favor of lane dominance. That's been represented in CS leads, plates, but most importantly, the turrets themselves, because they have gone for that Herald. So we'll see if that playbook gets unraveled again. A flash play here, Zenith play to engage, looking to try and find that first kill in the mid lane, on towards Appy. But he can literally just walk away.
Yeah, Tally was about a minion away from 6, and that could have been the difference maker there between getting the kill or not. But Dragku hits the nice flash engage. Ignite was used, though. It is a Hex Flash support, so I don't think that Dragku will be too upset. But it is constantly giving information to the side of Peace, who simply accept the movements of Chiefs. Yes, it's proactive. Yes, it's getting a lot of health off the Peace members, but they're not dying. And Lisa has been given a degree of space, as he's just going to sit there and look at Arthur. And Arthur's going to watch him play chicken with the river and just take the scuttle that he was planning on getting earlier.
They just stepped one another out. They weren't going to receive any support from their mid laners as they'd both gone back to base. So it was a case of who really wanted to take that trade. And Arthur says, you better go back into your jungle. It's not going to be pretty for you at this stage of the game. They are going to return topside. Arthur is still a world away from hitting level 6. So the Cataclysm dive threat isn't there to be found. But Tapoon could load up the explosive cask, which he will do so. But that'll be just a helping hand to get back to his turret.
Yeah, again, it really is just going to be pushing a wave in, if anything, right? Gragas uses the ultimate, nothing more comes from that. Beats Chaeyoung, they're going to body out Dragka here as well after that control was secured. Raze, as we pan down the bottom, took a really rough trade, it looks like. Has got the Sheen purchased, but that's not raw AD stats, where a Caitlyn has a lot of that with the pickaxe and longswords. So still pressure in bottom. This turret just naturally starting to drop, Skimmy. And with mid constantly pushed, what's to stop a Poppy from just getting every single Drake? The question is how they choose to play the map now, right? Because Herald's starting to get closer and closer to being available as we near 8 minutes. I don't know if Peace ever want to flip the map. I don't know if they ever want to play towards topside too heavily when Body's just so winning in a 2v2.
Certainly is, and you know, this is what you come to expect from a poke lane like that. You just had to imagine how much worse that could have been if Draco was actually playing the Yuumi or an Enchana in general instead, right? A lot less lane pressure to rely on. You're finding the pressure found here in the mid lane as well, which is a matchup that Tally's already played. It was actually their first game up against Order. Kisei playing the Syndra in that game actually had a lead. Certainly was able to abuse it until it reached a point of no return with multiple items in the Corki package, as well as those rockets doing a little bit too much. But you know, so far so good for Peace, right? They've weathered the storm. Those gank attempts that have gone topside haven't netted them anything, and they're just able to farm up safely and build up a very small lead.
Yeah, and you can see the resets come across now from both teams respectively. Appy's going to sneak the blue instead of a base here though, where Corki goes back for the package. Chiefs will do the expected thing, let's say, of flipping for the Herald side of the map. The control will spot this well in advance, but Corki with a package means the contest is very unlikely from the Peace side. And TN is the person who has to be super careful and is now not even next to his turret. He is so far away.
Yeah.
Draco with no level 6 means there's no chance he actually catches this.
He sent a warning shot at his old teammate.
But it's bot lane, Skimmy. That's the whole play here. If you are Peace, you know that your bot 2v2 is winning, and you can acknowledge as a team that if they're going to flip for Herald, it's theirs, right? You're going to go for the plate gold bottom instead. The one thing that stands out to me that is a little bit different than like the conventional response to this is that Lisa's hitting the turret with Chaeyoung, while Beats is answering top. So it's not a full commit. This could be a full turret potentially if they still had Beats down here.
Spur wants to trim that wave and maybe get a few shots to get close to lethal. Doesn't have combat summoners, so won't really commit to a 1v2 in their face, but maybe enough time to make a play elsewhere. And here we go, topside looking into Beats. A Cataclysm on his head, a Solar Flare locked on top, and Arthur might literally just whittle him down. They won't give the kill across the race. He had an angle for it, but they didn't want to give that a chance. Now they're going to answer back. You get the first turret in the bot lane, but we'll get the next upside top.
And that one point of difference is the point that the Chiefs will poke at, right? You make a single thing that seems non-standard, they find you, they punish you for it. Beats, it seems like he was just bodying the red buff a little bit, steps up maybe to throw an E over the wall, just gets Hex flashed on and is absolutely caught for it. And that turret trade that we expected happens, but with extra money into the pockets of the Chiefs from it. 10 does stop a base there, very cheeky if you can stop the Herald charge, and it is still worth. Dragon, the play on the cards now, Skibby.
And much to our excitement, it is both the AD carries that have the majority of the gold in this game, both were the benefactors of those sieges, being able to take down those turrets and go back to base and be the first to complete their mythic items. There's the Trinity Falls, there's the Gale Falls, big item spikes. And it does beg the question whether or not we will see a team fight break out as the ultimates aren't available. So for Chiefs, it's not even a question.
Yeah, they were never really going to get there in time though. They were just, they were playing too much towards top side at the reset, full deploy towards the opposite side of the map. Plenty of time for Peace to take that one out when Poppy and Caitlyn had been there for so long already, right? They're really stamping their authority. This is a point in the game, though, where we're starting to see Appy move towards side lanes. Now, Appy is playing a standard control mage in mid instead of his, say, top lane champions. He's played Gragas mid, for example, so far in this split. This is a point where the Syndra is very much at risk of dying, so they have to play towards Appy while protecting Chaeyoung at the same time. As long as both the Syndra and the Caitlyn are free farming and pushing, then they're totally fine. There's just moments of risk. And remember that it is a Leona Jarvan composition, so very high kill threat.
Yeah. And what's unconventional to typically see an AD carry split push this early in the map, usually plant 2 in the mid lane to protect them. It's a Zeri. Now we have seen Zeri, although not too commonly, has been played in the side lanes, especially with the dash available. The gank comes your way, and you're just out. You're gone. So you can look to try and farm up that XP a little bit quicker to try and bridge the gap before Chaeyoung becomes too oppressive.
That's true if Poppy didn't have a W, right? It's very easy to dash over walls, but Poppy can straight up cancel you. Dan about to cop it.
Yep, gonna take a bit of a beating, down to 50% just like that. Arthur's in the area, and he said, I'm happy with a flash, that's all we needed. Lisa gonna bash him against the wall, and Tapoon is then gonna feel the wrath of getting knocked up into the sky. Its final spark comes across, gonna tickle them. Not enough for Peace to commit and all in.
Yeah, Tiana kind of already used everything, right? He was already pretty much out of the fight. It was a nice damage trade from Lisa, but that felt a bit like a force to me, right? Just a little bit of frustration perhaps there from the jungler of Peace, just not really being given an avenue of entry. And to your point before as well of Zeri being able to side lane, it's absolutely true. It's similar to Vayne, right? Both these champions just have the tools to deal with that one person solo in the side lane. If not to survive, then to kill them. But it's also a Corki mid, so it is kind of like keeping an AD carry with your Leona that helps you very easily. We'll keep that priority for you. And Zeri is safer in a side lane than a Syndra, who requires so many more resources. And Beat starts to fall a little bit behind in experience. You know, Lux is one of those champions that wants to stay as high as possible in experience, wants to stay as high as possible in influence on the map and money gained. But all this time spent helping Appy, as you can see, kind of gets Appy ahead, but keeps the Lux behind, and that means it is a very fragile, not standard enchanter that we're going to be dealing with.
He tried to patch that fragile lifestyle with the crown last time to make sure that if he did get jumped upon, he wasn't going to get one shot by his time. If you're not going to have the economy to really pick up a Zonias. Get to see if he goes down that avenue once again. But as far as things find themselves, big emphasis on these objectives, but mainly the map rotations. You're just panning between top and bot. And it's all about picking up those plates. Now the plates are gone, achieving as much map control as possible, and, you know, we're tied.
Yeah, I mean, in essence, this is just an even game. A couple of important things to note as we kind of crest over to the next team fights of importance. You can see just high damage from both these players mid. It is 2 Drakes to none for the side of Peace, so Infernal Soul is going to be well and truly their play. But Herald 2 available at a very similar timing means that a Corki will have package for both objectives, potentially Skimmy. It is also the Hex Drinker rushed by Tally. So Manamune into the Hex Drinker delays the item spikes that a Corki can have for effective teamfight damage. It means that he will survive. And having a Syndra and a Lux on the enemy team, there is no better comp to build that Hex Drinker into. More is obviously a very efficient item in its own right as well.
Got to cop some nice buffs in the next patch as well that we'll get to look forward to. No doubt another complete overhaul of what is viewed as the meta. But as it stands, we certainly had enough spicy new champions to keep things fresh today.
There is a monster flank ward that is like near Peace's base if the Gragas were to utilize it for the largest flank angle you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Way up there. With a bit of time left on it, I was just looking at teleports. Topoon does have his. The Gragas is probably just going to sit with the team though, so I think that teleport is more for like if Chiefs win the fight and Peace choose to disengage, there's an angle for a flank. We'll see how it plays out though. Peace definitely just want to harass first and foremost.
Yeah, and they're definitely trying to shepherd them into a particular area, right? The traps go down, so you must go through one of 2 different ways. The flash engage there from Drake who misses. The Solar Blade does land, he's stunned, but they don't commit. A flash to disengage away. The knockback onto Arthur. The Dragon's already been engaged, so it's not going to be a lethal attempt just yet. The 50-50 burger flip is still in particular there. Peace pick it up, that's their 3rd of the game. And now a fight soon to break on through. There's a Cataclysm and a flash away again. So many summoners being burnt. Tien can't find it. He does get it through, but then Chaeyoung comes crumbling down. He gets 2.
Raze!
Oh, but Raze! He's died! Oh no, it was so close!
No, but he just flashed the wall and E'd back towards them.
Oh no.
Oh, that's so sad. The Chiefs, I mean, that was a really intense team fight. It ends up being a 3-for-1 almost in the end there, I'm going to say. Could have been 2, I think. But we'll have to watch what happens with Raze at the very last part of that fight. That was a super intense little series of trades, though. Dragku looks for the flash, he just misses it. The ult hits and Appy flashes the full combo from Tally. Arthur gets smashed over the wall, so he has to flag drag back in. And then it just comes down to a smite fight that Lisa does win. Lisa forced a disengage here, however, and beats flashes as well. So everything being used. And Raze at this point, I think he wants to flash out.
Oh!
And then he's back in. I thought he did. Oh, that's
Cut the clip.
that's just so sad. I can't even tell what he wanted.
Well, all I can imagine is you're flashing and you want to dash again to try and buy time, buy space to make sure
But
you don't
why
get hit by that
flash
harass.
if you have the dash?
Hey, all I'm saying is if it was as intense as we witnessed and as you say, look, I tell you what, these players no doubt were feeling it as well. And that's a rare blunder. A very rare blunder.
Yeah, exactly. From someone we call the perfect player a lot of times, right? Self-prescribed nickname. I was aspiring for perfection. It is a totally fair thing, but we jokingly call him the perfect player. There was a period of time where that was his name, I believe. Still a winning team fight for Peace. The objective secured by Peace. Dragku, through his W, has Lock It up. Did not assume it was going to do that much damage, Skibby.
Supports are chronically squishy. That's the second time today we've just seen a support click and they're gone.
Lord Dominic's is just so much damage. Really stuck in a choke point here as Chiefs. Remember, Poppy bodies them out so well. And that's time for Caitlyn trapped in a Lux Eater setup. No way through.
They're just blocked. They just have to witness their mid-tier one falling on down. No clapback, no answers, just frustration.
That is a 4-1 ADC now. That is a 4-1 Caitlyn. Corki still exists. So it raises the question. Chiefs actually posturing for an engage here. No Syndra.
Now's the time to go in. They have no flashes. They're on towards Beast. They couple the 2 CC from the big engage once again. Chiefs take down one. And they're hungry to take down more. But the rest of Peace, they conceded. Let them fall on down. And they don't want to sacrifice what has been such a strong start to this game.
And this is prime time for Chiefs. If you have a skirmish where summoner spells are used, a Leona and a Jarvan able to work together to find picks, it is so much easier. Raze
takes this. He's just going to run him down. This is what he lives for. You can't
easy money.
escape.
Teleport in as well. Appy in trouble.
You seriously cannot escape. Ray's going to hold his dash for the meantime, trying to buffer the zap over the wall, lock them in place, but it's not going to connect. Appy going to deny vision for a second. He needs to dodge the stun. In comes Tally. 3 against 1. Conclave, Alcove Gaming. But how much can the rest of Peace do in the meantime? They're all postured in the mid lane. That was, well, nearly would have been insane to get any kind of trade there.
Yeah, look, it was a lot of damage and he lived for a lot longer than perhaps people expected him to there, but at the end of the day, it was just going to be a dead Syndra. Appy does still go down. That is 2 picks back-to-back now, favoring the Chiefs. The scoreboard goes back 7-5 in Chiefs' favor. The gold is dead even, however, and there is still a 550 gold shutdown on the 80 carry of Peace, though Raze is keeping up.
It continues to be these two locked in a deadlock, looking to see who can carry harder. I tell you what, though, you look at the bounty, and you see Cheon there with a 600 gold bounty, so much bigger, despite them being dead even, essentially, in total gold. Huge
20
target.
seconds. Give me 20 seconds on the clock. Put the timer down. Corki with a package is level 13, but it is the Maw of Malmortius, or the Hexdrinker rather, start. So it's not the Luden spike timing. Arthur already so poked.
Oh! Soliflay goes out, keeps in place 2 members, but they didn't want that fight. They need the poke. They need some squishy members to answer back.
Can't just fight. You have to play for the Drake here as well. If you get the team fight, it has to secure the objective.
That hurts.
Ooh,
But that hurts
Hallie.
more!
Halle's done for.
He's just gone. He can't fight. He can't use the package aggressively. Has to disengage away. The explosive card goes out. Drake jumps in. Raze finds one, but both Eddie carries it on the score sheet now. The Drake is held in suspension. It's a soul point. Infernal Soul for Peace.
Peace want to flip it.
It's going to get reset. Raze hit the flash. Lisa jumped in. He hasn't claimed it. Chiefs have the Drake. Now can they find some kills? Can they buy some time? Can they get a snowball of their own? He sidestepped the shock blast. That might have been lethal. Tien may have had the kill. Tapoon, he wants Jaeon.
Oh,
That's the shortest barrel I've ever seen. He's gone bowling, but there's no alley for it to go down. Oh, shut down. Jaeon, he takes them all. He takes them all. How does he do this at 20% and cleave them as if he has a Runance?
the largest gate shock blast you've ever seen from a Jace as well. Tien hits all three of them. I just gave them a couple name. Tien hits all three of them with the gate shock blast. That's the difference maker in that little skirmish. The flash forwards from Topoon definitely was a small cue. Tally quite simply walks onto a Caitlyn trap, gets ulted, he is out of the fight. This now is one of the diciest situations. Remember, an Infernal Soul is on the line, but Arthur, Topoon, and Raze, they find the pick. They find the most crucial pick as well, as it is onto Appy. It means that Raze can continue to fight. They flash, try and get in. Peace, I think, made the decision that they are just going to burger flip that Drake, right? That is all it was going to become. Topoon, this is a really tragic flash cue.
Yeah.
And then just keep your eyes on Tien here with the gate shock blast. Flashes into it. Yes, the Caitlyn gets the kill, but the amount of damage that was just applied there is a little bit too clean from Tien. And just barely scraping away is the rest of the Chiefs roster.
This game is really as close as it comes. It's dead even with the gold right now, but these fights, man, I mean, it is so hard to call which way it is going because these are mechanical masterclasses. It's match of the week for a reason. It's the most entertaining and close game that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's delivering in a lot of ways. I think it's pretty clear to us, however, that there is still a couple of really nervous moments. It's not perfect gameplay.
Sure.
But it is still very even, very intense, and showing right now what we could say is a finals preview. Only 23 minutes into this one, we're getting everything delivered.
You would definitely want to say, sign me up for a best of 5 or this, because
Yes.
it's giving you everything you want. As you say, sure, there's some nerves, and of course we're going to base the narrative on, you know, early days, week 3, undefeated. Wouldn't it be cool to try and have that perfect split? But you know, both these teams have showcased that they've got very different ideas of how they want to approach this one. How do they want to take these teams down? But it would mean something. It certainly would to have that record to your name going into to complete the first round robin.
And the great thing about this, and we said this just after the draft, Skimmy, is that it's around 80 carries. So not only did we say it was around them, they're playing like it. Both ADs topping the goal, both ADs sitting there with shutdowns. Crazy big moments from both respectively. Yes, there was that one hiccup from Raze, but immediately after he gets a solo kill onto Lisa. So back in action straight away. And now we set up.
Jumping on in, we're looking for that fight. Lisa's the target right now. Lisa's gone! Arthur cannot do anything about it. The team were waiting in the shadows saying, do we follow up? Do we back you up? Ultimately, Arthur's dead.
Yeah, Arthur just goes down, right? Easy pickup from the side of Peace. There's a lot that needs to go into how these fights are actually started off in the first place, right? A single error into the Peace composition, you do die. I think comboing the Leona with the Jarvan is actually a really key piece of the puzzle here for the Chiefs. And this time around, it was really just the Jarvan working with the Gragas, who couldn't do enough, but Tien is in trouble.
Certainly is. Tien is going to do whatever he can in a 1v2, and he packs a punch, but not so much when the numbers are against him. So that's a big pick. It is a big pick, and it keeps, once again, the gold so interlocked.
Nice little Hex Flash there from Dragku as well. Just seeing if he could find someone, maybe stop some recalls, but at the end of the day, everyone's just going to go back for their resets. Baron's still definitely something worth looking at, and you can see the vision from Peace right now. Super defensively placed around that Baron. They just don't want to give the Baron away. They're going to try and inch wards further and further forwards, but right now you've got Beats reset onto the map where Lisa is still a few seconds behind. So they have to play through midway first, and then with the looming threat of another Infernal Soul for the Chiefs in 1 minute and 30 seconds. We're interested to see how they choose to set themselves up on this map right now. Mid first. The one major difference is that the mid outer turret standing for Peace makes this so incredibly easy because it is standing and healthy.
Yeah, very little damage onto it at the moment, and they are literally playing ping pong in the mid lane with no real threat to try and contest. Just these two in tandem, we've seen what they can do, and anybody that looks to try and step up over Force, the game's just gone.
All right. So keep your eyes peeled for moments now, Skimmy. It's 100% possible. You've got Flash ready for Dragku for real this time. No Flash for Chaeyoung, no Flash for Beats for a few seconds. In the setup for the Dragon, Tophoon and Tien are here already.
Package.
So it is a 5v5. We are once again potentially just flipping those burgers. To see he'll be flipping those burgers after the game, am I right?
Yeah, could get that one on Menulog. Worth noting that both AD carries do not have their flashes, but everybody else does. Dragku very low, copped a big beating. Has to get this honey fruit, get your 5 of they, so important. No more so than this moment right here. They will have the vision, it's a permanent fixture. The crab is there, Tophoon body block. The poke is coming in absolutely clutch. Still another 20 seconds.
Yeah, Dragku probably wants to get a reset off before this. With 20 seconds, that was a very early Corki package. That is the one thing that I would say. Peace, however, did get bodied out of the Dragon area. They still have the Scuttle Crab, so they have a certain amount of vision and knowledge available to them. One Lux Blinding, one Syndra stun like this, and it's on.
Oh, he could be in trouble. He could just die. He's just dead. It's just gone. A huge shutdown picked up there by Beats. Now surely this is Peace's soul. Surely they've done enough to pick up the Infernal.
Arthur has to get in.
He jumped in. It's not going to be enough. Chance secures it. Arthur's just going to die as well. Lisa travels through space and time to take him down. No flash required. Thanks for the flag and drag. Thanks for the double. Infernal Soul into Baron.
And Appy, a mid laner who has been targeted so heavily right now, hits the stun. The flash from Beats was instant on Lux. The follow-up was huge. And the reason that fight is so winning for the side of Peace is because they get the Corki before the fight can start. So clutch moves here from Peace. They stay strong. It's the mid, it's the support. You'll see it now. Stun through the wall, bang, flash Q, and Chaeyoung just comes in with enough damage to round it out. That's the pick that they needed. The rest of Peace just body chiefs out of the pit. And then this isn't really a 50-50. Arthur will get into the pit, however. And he was super close to at least having the steal attempt. The smite went off. I'll say that. That's how close he was.
It's a phenomenal game here from Peace. I'm really enjoying myself watching this one, I'll tell you that much. It hasn't been the most explosive in terms of amount of kills overall, but the kills that have been found, oh, it feels so satisfying.
They're just doing so much right, you know? I don't think I've seen a moment of nerves from the side of Peace. I don't think I've seen any crazy big mistakes across the board. There's a bit of impatience perhaps from Lisa, who wasn't really getting anything done, but his job is to protect. No, it is not to be super aggressive. Ooh. Tally being targeted again.
Oh, he's flashed as well. Look how much time and space and distance he had to try and cover. He can't dodge it all, please, man! Tien. Oh, dear. That literally felt like he was at army boot camp, having to travel every different obstacle they threw at him, but he has made it. He's graduated through hell.
Yeah, Tally survives. You've got the teleports coming in now from Chiefs. They've found their moment. Tophoon on a wide flank. But the teleports are going in mid as well, so I think he's actually just playing defense, just playing distraction while they go for the mid lane outer turret. Still a heroic effort from Dragku, from Tally to make that trade positive. In saying that, I think we cast a cursed Lisa just a little bit there.
Oh, they won't get out easily though. Oh, flash away. Lightning Crash will not connect. 2v1. Peace really wanted to hold the line there. You just keep looking. Where's the Syndra? Where's the Lux? Who's going in front of them? Because anything connects, and they get globaled.
Caitlyn ultimate follows up on a Jace like that in future, and you can see what happens. Yeah, we need to really highlight that we haven't forgotten Corki exists in this game. Corki is an almost permaban necessity. I think he's going to get red buff here as well, which I really like because that's health regeneration, keeps him on the map. Even though it is not going to be going to the Zeri, I think you can deal with that one. Suck it up. But still, Lisa, unfortunately, a little bit too aggressive, I will say, in that bottom play prior. We just called him a protector and he tried to serve instead. Now 0-3. Peace still in control.
30 seconds left on this Baron buff, and whilst the goal counter won't show the most devastating of leads achieved from it, they're certainly quietly achieving 4 turrets so far. This will be their 5th. The invitation pulls those inhibs. He's getting closer. Elder Dragon, another consideration here, and based on how insane this game has been, certainly feels like we're headed towards it.
I think the equalizing factor is still Corki existing. Because right now you've got a Jace and a Caitlyn with an Infernal Soul, and that harass and poke is devastating. You're seeing how much threat it has. Caitlyn ult after a Jace Gate Shock Blast, both having an Infernal Soul, is just so much extra damage, right? That's actually one-hit territory. Vitaly being level 16, having his third full item completed, he hits one rocket and everything's back to equal. No one has health. So Peace keep trying to push for these objectives, take a turret, and then they're forced to reset and recall after, and it is buying time for Chiefs. Raze is still on this Zeri with 4 full items done, Gibby. One big team fight is all it would take for Chiefs to just straight up walk to the Nexus and end the game. And Peace have not broken the base. It is still anyone's game.
On hit Zeri. Crit chance Caitlyn. Both looking to achieve very different things. But will they get the uptime to justify just how fed they are in this game? As you say, Corki will be a menace. Is loading up the big one, but Lisa's going in. The crash is there. The turnaround, Lisa's down. He's down for 45 seconds. The Poon! Explosive cast was close. A flash away to respect to Appy now down. And they have to disengage away. They jump through. Ace in the hole hits them like an absolute weapon. And Telly will lifesteal like he can with his Ravenous Hydra, but the stun there from the Syndra, and Tapoon's in trouble. He's a tank, and he's still terrified. Cheon, with a GA, has no fear in the world. You can send me to the afterlife, but I will keep taking you down. And Chiefs will finally, I say with bated breath, run away.
And everyone's going to be able to get out that is left standing with their lives intact. It was once again just Lisa that goes down. No stopwatch, no chance to buy some extra time, and he was... I get the angle that he saw, but it's not going to be enough to one-hit someone from full unless the Caitlyn is auto-attacking, I feel like, or it's a trap that actually kicks that off. We've now got a Corki package. This is a large Corki. Last time we saw the objective, Corki got the package a little bit too soon. It expired. This time around, he'll have it as the Elder spawns, but the Caitlyn traps are set up. Cheon has bodied them out.
Once again, shepherding them in to one entrance point into the Elder. Forget the Baron. It's all about this.
Waves are good for the Chiefs. Mid's doing well, top's doing well, but the poke, the harass from this Infernal Soul is obviously starting to mount up to be just a little bit too difficult to deal with. I think Chiefs are comfortable with a stalemate. One big Corki rocket, and then everything changes. But Tien is on a flank. The pressure is on.
Tien not on vision. Raze will reveal him right now. Appy and Tapoon floating on the top side, looking for that angle. Another stun. Beast flashes forward, biting fun as fuck there. Cheon picks it up. Arthur's been knocked out the pit. The Elder down to 4K. He's running back, scrambling to get in. He's been knocked back again. Lisa's got the Elder, and now surely they're going to win this team fight, Rusty. Surely they have the execution burst. They're going to take them all down, and Raze does have the GA. But in a 1v4, just how much can he do?
I don't think he's going to have any tools to stop them from taking the Baron. You can see Topoon's still actually alive on the map. He's just been a little bit of a split push gremlin to keep them busy. Ray's trying to slow them down to buy time using the W there, just to split them up for an extra second. And maybe that extra second of time will result in a turret that falls down. You can see they're going to push mid lane, knowing that the Baron is completely gone. But it is also the Elder with an Infernal Soul. The game is pieces for the taking if they can just break the base.
It's time to run. It's time to wait. You need those respawns. And you're really hoping at this stage that they can't find anything too monumental. Really, for me, Arthur absolutely hates playing this game.
It's tough being the Jarvan. It is also tough being the Leona. I think, honestly, you have to play from bushes from Fog of War and threaten with Leona ultimates. We really haven't seen too much from Dragku in this game because the range of the champions that he is dealing with is just too high. I think we see this fight again, and quite simply it starts because Raze gets hit by the Lux Q. He is outranged. And if the Chiefs aren't going forwards, if they're not working with the Jarvan and Leona together, it is just so good for Peace.
45 seconds in Elder. If there was ever a time to highlight how many buffs you need in the game to close things out, Peace have it. Infernal, Elder, Baron, Mid turret down again as Tien feels the wrath of this late game max level Corki. Slowly whittling their way towards this in here. Both AD carries step up and say, how are ya? But one will have to respect and disengage away.
Yeah, Tien's super harassed already. He can play from long range like this, but his base is too far away. So it is going to be a case of reset eventually. See how much they choose to play for, because you want to use the Elder for all it's worth. But that harass starts to add up right now. One big rocket just kills Beats, and Tally can go back to the fountain for help. He's not careful though. A single auto attack from Chaeyoung just kills him.
Certainly does. Elder's gone. Baron is still up. They don't want to overforce. This really feels like Peace's game to lose. They had literally everything you could ask for.
There is only one inhibitor taken, and that is mid, which is the easiest to defend. Gimme, this game is still well and truly on. That Elder is going to fizzle out after this reset. We still have time left in this game where both teams can win.
Crazy
To be fair, it's pretty difficult to do if you are Chiefs the way that the game state is.
Well, that
I'm
was
just
gonna
trying
be
to
my
give
next
him
point.
some copium here, right?
That really was my next point, right? Like, what are we looking? Because from an engaged standpoint, they have been absolutely battered. But are you really all in on the copium, hopium, please pray to the Corki one shot? Because
what choice do you have, right? Like, we're still looking at Raze. Raze definitely can do some serious work, but he's pretty outranged. Needs to get some stacks up on the ultimate, so I think it's about a long, protracted or drawn-out fight where Raze would start to shine the most. And yes, like, maybe we do say the Corki is a little bit copium. It's probably a 70 or like an 80-20 game state right now, but it is only 4,000 gold difference, and realistically that creeps down to like 70-30. Arthur
it just literally said, kill me if you can. And they say, okay, we will.
What was that?
70-30, fast becoming 90-10.
The wave's dead at least. You've got 20 seconds for the wave to get here. But that was definitely an int. Teleports are covered in, Skibby. The play is this bottom inhib now.
As you say, Appy's wasting no time. 4 major items complete. The Poppy ult will do literally nothing but look cool on your screen. It's a helicopter because they're flying right out of this base. They've taken another turret. They've opened up another crack in what is Chief's base. But the overlap of these major buffs once again seems to be the focus.
Yeah, we are going to 100% be looking towards the Elder. Oh, Beats has to flash Topoon.
Have they got it? Have they actually caught them off? Chaeyoung's not here. Tien's not here. That has been crucial for Peace winning. Has just been a major oversight here found from the side of Peace. Chiefs will take it. Of course they will. The overlap in the respawn time it's dead on as the Elder spawns.
Yeah, Tally actually being really cheeky there, taking as long as possible to take down the Lux means the timings. Dragku's just dead.
Supports are running it.
Listen, you know what? You're only going to get this from me once in my career, I reckon, Skimmy, but imagine if that was a Yuumi.
Oh no! We've broken him.
Like, the Leona's just dying.
Well, League of Legends is not a 5v5 game. We are down to 4v4. Tally! It's just gone! The Calico's 1-2. Can Chiefs answer back? No, Arthur's dead as well. Raze instant cleanse, dash across the walls. See you later. And Tapoon runs to the hills to buy time.
Happy no ult. So Raze can outplay, but it is an uphill battle to say the least. Minions starting to crash in mid. Beats back on the map as well. Dragku back alive, and Topoon's going to teleport to the base.
A flash ball from Dragku, he wants it. Raze follows in pursuit. The bot lane of Chiefs absolutely smurfing when required. No chance to even use the Zonias. That's how quickly he popped. Peace thought they had the invitation to end the game.
Beats wants to go to the Elder, it feels like, and yeah, just a bridge too far here from Peace. Right now, Chiefs are going to go for the Baron, and if ever there was something you needed to try and hold off the push of this Elder that you know you can't contest, all of the vision belongs to them. And it is going to be the Baron buff. Peace, we'll see how they choose to play this one out, because walking across the river, they honestly might get here in time. But do they walk into the jaws of the beast? Arthur will get here.
Okay. It's going to get close, though. Before Tally rocked up, it wasn't falling down that quickly. At least he gets knocked into his team. He's in smite range. He's still
He's
the
in
Baron.
range.
You're kidding me. You are absolutely kidding me. How on earth have Peace done this? They are going to kill everybody. They are screaming in their player cams. And it's a quadra kill for Cheon. Put some respect on this man's
Does the
name.
Elder get him? It's a Penta.
It's a Penta. It's the first of the year.
And Lisa was out of his seat, Skibby. Peace are just going to walk down mid lane, and they are just going to take the Nexus for free. A massive win for Peace, and a big shot to all the haters that said they wouldn't be contenders. Us included, Skimmy, because they are fighting and they are first.
Take a bow, Peace. The fireworks, a beautiful crescendo to end what was a monumental tug of war between two big titans in the O's region. Peace remain 5-0.
16-1 is the AD carry of Peace. The person they are struggling to pick up there in Cheon. Huge performance from the bottom lane of Peace as a 2v2. And just strong everywhere else on the map, right? But they've got an AD carry that they can trust. He was called Little Violet, Skimmy, but we're 3 weeks into this one, and I'm starting to wonder if it's just Cheon.
It's gone. The narrative
It's
is
no
dead.
longer Little Violet, it's just Cheon. He's a beast.
He's his own man. That was the narrative. That was what we were pushing. That was what made Peace so strong of old. But he is playing incredibly well. Gets the first pentakill. Absolutely popped off. And he's a man on a mission now that is really defying every expectation, as you say, ours included. Mac, honestly, take the mic, because I'm nervous. I was sweating. I was out of my seat as much as the Peace players themselves.
Mate, I was also literally screaming at the end. When I saw how close he was, I saw Baron at like 2k. I'm like, he's there. He can smite that. What's going on? And then he stole it. And then I screamed. So that was it. He's getting everything and definitely playing for it. My God, that was nuts. Like, so many crazy team fights as well. You know, Tien had to kind of play weak side early game. Chiefs were trying to abuse that. But it kind of worked. Kept them in the game. The gold diff was the exact same up until, I think, it was this point where the Soul came through, and then there was a slight lead starting to come through for Peace. But look, Tien doing his job. He was like just drawing attention on this flank. Lisa clutch ult in that play to get the
Arthur's
first
mad,
Elder.
man. There's no way Arthur's not just furious
Did
at
you
this
see
game.
his player cam at the end? He was defeated. He was sitting there. He could not believe that smite happened at the end. And you got to feel for him. Maybe he was right, huh? He did say, you know, his mid-bot sucked. And even though they played great, it seems like maybe Arthur needs to go back and not put his teammates down before games like this.
To be fair as well, this last fight, he wasn't actually ever going to be in smite range. So it was one of those like incredibly large flip moments where Chief said, we will just go for the Baron. If we get it and we get the fight after, like, it is what it is. Like, they didn't choose to turn and fight. So...
Oh, I missed that one. And look at that. They were so happy with that one.
Just give me the best of 5, man. Inject that right into my veins, because that is a game that, honestly, how do you even top it? Okay, like, imagine being the next team up, and you're thinking, well, what do we do against that? After this, Mammoth Die will still be watching it hyped as well as us.
I'm so speechless after that. That was the best game we have seen this split. Like, it was so entertaining, and we get to see it at least 2 more times before playoffs, and I'm already counting the days, counting the hours until that one's played again. But for now, it's Peace that walk out victorious and stay undefeated, and that means that they are currently on the top of the leaderboard. No one's going to be able to contest them unless they can take them down. Absolutely nuts. Now, you guys did mention it on the cast because obviously you had a lot of time. You had 41 minutes to discuss it. Yumi could have gone through. Would we have seen this be a different result if Dragu picked that one up, Rust?
Okay, so to be fair, I don't think laning phase exists if you pick Yuumi.
Yeah.
I actually think that is just a go next at 15 angle, and we
Okay.
still made it to 40. If we made it to 30 minutes and Yuumi was on the cards, 100% I was looking for that. The thing is, like, I feel for Drago in this position when the enemy team picks Caitlyn Lux, and I'm sure Kitty feels a similar way. Your options as a support get close to zero. You have to play and engage support and kill them early, or you just have no shot. And the level 1 involving kills and some awkward resets, it was tough. And then it just got impossible when the Caitlyn got ahead. So I feel for Dragq in this game. And I did jokingly say a Yuumi because it would have been objectively better 30 minutes in, but
Yeah.
like he had to Leona, really.
And Draco, of course, is pretty well versed on that Leona. Now, the Caitlyn Lux bot lane, this is a dangerous combination. The amount of times where we just saw the amount of zoning from the traps, from Lux's abilities there as well, just it got them that free mid tower. It got them a whole lot because they could just set up. They were given the positioning to do it. And then as soon as Chaeyoung got that GA on board, man was able to go a little bit more aggressive and not only just chunking with the ults, but just getting insane amounts of crits that game. You could see the damage. It was off the bloody charts. And look, to put some icing on the cake as well, Infernal Soul. But speaking of, we've had 3 of those. In every game today, we've had an Infernal Rift. So do you think we can make it the quadfecta all the way to game number 4?
More damage, more one-shots. Why not? Go for it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I will add quickly that Peace are the only team that have been allowed to have the Caitlyn. They're the only team that have played it, the only team that have got the Caitlyn Lux. And I can't remember which split or which date exactly, but you can join in, Rusty. Peace once were Avant, and Avant were the only team back in the day, at least when I joined, that were playing the Caitlyn bot lane shove with the enchant all the time too. And that was their strength for at least like 3 or 4 weeks. So there's almost some poetic journey as to sort of how things have gone and how we've ended up
They still
here.
need new chairs, Divvy.
Yes.
They
I'm not gonna give you the
they
poems
do
on
need
this.
new
They need new chairs desperately.
But look, maybe they were told if they go undefeated for the split, they can have those new chairs with some beautiful Peace branding on them. And fortunately, we have Kitty to bring into the conversation and maybe go and ask that to the players.
All I'm gonna say, I believed in the boys. Let's go, Peace. Peace to MSI. Anyways, I've grabbed Beats for the interview because I'm just so goddamn excited after that game. Hello, Beats. Congrats on maintaining your win streak 5-0. How are you feeling after that win?
I'm feeling pretty good, but I think my performance is still a bit shaky. I'm still really nervous.
It's okay. Anyone would be nervous in that game. That game was 40 minutes long and it was insanely close. Talking about insanely close, you guys had really close dragon fights. Tell us how the comms were and how Peace played out the team fight with Jace and Caitlyn.
I think our comms were actually pretty quiet. Remy just said, just dodge everything and we can win.
It was just a dodgeball game in League of Legends, you know. Gotta dodge the Corki ults and the Caitlyn, you know, the Lux, you know. But talking about that, you guys, that was, as I said, it was a really close game. From which team fight onwards did you guys think the game was in a winning position for Peace?
I think when we had Sol, we were pretty comfortable in winning. But before then, it was a bit hard.
You know, there wasn't actually a big goal difference until maybe the Elder Drake. So I'm surprised you said from Seoul because that game felt really close.
Yeah, I think it's just really hard for them to play when we have Sol, to be honest.
Well, I said it here. Peace to MSI. I'm not gonna take back my words. Quote me on it, but good luck, Pete's. And I'm just so excited for you. Well, congrats on the win, and have a
Thank
good
you.
night, Pete's.
Bye.
Look, celebrate the night away, but remember, they got to back it up tomorrow as well. I can't even remember who they're playing because my mind was just so focused on that game that everything that was up here, which wasn't much to begin with, is all gone. Now, after that, Kitty, tell me, you didn't get enough time to really break that one down. So, from your perspective, you know, did you want to chime in on this like Yuumi Leona conversation we were having before?
So I was listening to Rusty. We did see Jakku get poked quite a lot because he was on vision for those important Drake fights. Usually as a Leona, you want to be either out of vision, so you have presence in the bush, or you want to be flanking, which is probably the best choice that Jakku has. But he was just kind of in the open, receiving those poke, and yeah, we didn't see Jakku perform the best.
Okay.
But in my opinion, I think if Jakku picked Yuumi, the game actually would have been a win for Chiefs.
Okay, so some hot takes. Let's see if this one evolves well as we move the conversation to Twitter, because we've got to get along with the broadcast. Now, player of the game, Cheon. No one else could compete with this man.
Obviously.
He was just dishing out the damage, and I have to say that I have questioned him in the last couple of weeks, but going into today, I have no more questions. This man is definitely the new Ultraviolet.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it goes without saying that he was someone who was learning under Violet. He did say he learned a lot, and credit where it's due. I'm sure there was a lot of information to gain from piece of last year. They were a terrifying 2v2 bottom lane.
Yeah.
But Cheon, within 3 weeks of the LCO, has come into his own right? Has actually just made a name for himself, and so we do just call him Cheon now, not Little Violet, 100% with performances like that.
Ridiculous scenes all day here on the LCO. Upsets, great games, you name it, we've got it. Now, before we jump into the break, before we jump into the last game, make sure you drop exclamation mail in chat so you never miss out on a giveaway, you never miss out on the action, you never miss out on the competition, and you'll be able to follow the link and sign up for all the good stuff. Now, speaking of good stuff, we got one more big game to come up, and the question is, can Mammoth continue this win streak? Find out after the break.
Close though, before Kelly rocked up, it wasn't falling down that quickly. At least he gets knocked into this team. He's in smite range. He steals
He's
the
in
Baron.
range.
You're kidding me. You are absolutely kidding me. How on earth have Peace done this? They are going to kill everybody. They are screaming